Hey, everybody. Kevin here with Pursuing Pixels, and welcome back to another edition of Save It for the Cast. And before we get to the chit-chat with Randall John and I, per usual, and we do lead off with just a little bit of basketball chat this week, but it's just a smidge before we get into all sorts of video game stuff, kind of all over the map. We're talking like Wii U stuff, Nintendo DS, like the old, like where you could download, where like only one person had to have the game, and you could I think it was just called DS Download Play. But yeah, we're just kind of all over the map talking all sorts of game stuff this week. But before that, I wanted to highlight some stuff that I've actually been streaming lately, and I talked about this with Randall recently, and I might have even mentioned it on some other episodes of the podcast. But yeah, I've been kind of jumping back on streaming lately and trying to beat some games or take some first looks at games on our Twitch channel. And just the other night, I played through Love 3, which actually I've played through Love, the original Love, and then Kuso, which is Love 2. And then for whatever reason, I don't know why they kind of went off the naming convention there, because Love 3 is just Love 3. But these are, all three of them are precision platformers, kind of 1-bit art style. Like every level kind of has a different palette. There's like a little splash of color, but for the most part, it's like a 1-bit pretty simple precision platformer, but I really like how the entire series, like, and what's awesome about Love 3 is it actually comes with all three games. Like, you have to unlock them after beating Love 3. But one of the nice things, even though it's like a super tough precision platformer as far as like the level design is really challenging. But for example, I played through Love 3 on unlimited mode, where you can play. You get as many lives as you want, and you actually get as many checkpoints as you want, and that's kind of the other gimmick of the game, or kind of mechanic, if you will. You can place a checkpoint at any point along your path, like as long as you're in a safe spot. So you can't place it mid-air, you can't place it like in the way of like an obstacle, or like sometimes there's like a turret that's shooting and like targeting you. So like if you place a checkpoint, technically it's on safe ground, but it might get sniped by the turret. Like it'll basically, if your checkpoint gets killed, it gets erased as well. So you would get sent all the way back to the beginning of the level. Like it wouldn't go back to your previous checkpoint. You'd actually go all the way back to the beginning. But there's like a you only live once mode, in terms of like, obviously it's a permadeath. Like you just got to beat the whole game, which especially for Love 3, like for Love 1 and Kuso, Love 2, I really feel like it's like I was like, maybe if I was really determined, I could go for this. But for Love 3, there's like a few new mechanics added. There's like this kind of like flutter drone thing that you hop into, and then you kind of use the joystick, like you press up to kind of flutter and keep your elevation, and then you have to steer it as well. And again, like there's some tight gaps, some tight jumps, but again, like because I was playing on unlimited, so I was just kind of looking to play through the whole game. And again, each level has like its own like color palette or whatever, but it also has its own unique song, and that's through the entire series. And the soundtrack is just so good. It's kind of just like lo-fi, like chill hop beats. I don't know what else to call them, but I really love the soundtrack in all three games. Love 3 is no exception. But yeah, I really had a blast playing through this. And then you can toggle like slow motion on at any point. I think you can turn that off, in the more difficult modes, but you can go into slow motion, like bullet time, to again make things a little easier. You can play in the arcade mode, which I think gives you, I can't remember if it's 25 lives or 100 lives. It might be different in each iteration of the game. Like in Love 1, 2, and 3, it might be a different number of lives based on like the challenge and number of levels in the game. But I really like, that's kind of like, that to me feels like what's like the core game, if you will. But then again, there's like speedrun modes and all sorts of extra stuff. And again, it's got like, I just really love the series. I'm a huge fan. Fred Wood is the game designer of the whole series. And I just really love how like artistically, I mean, it does, I kind of gravitate towards that 1-bit art style. And I'm just a big fan of it in general. But for the most part, it's kind of just this like little stick figure. Like it's a pretty primitive game at a glance. But even though, again, like it caught my eye because of the style. But if you just looked at it, like it's a pretty primitive game, but at the same time, when you just have a game that has super tight controls, really clever level design, and again, the accessibility, well, like not really offering, there's not like a mode per se that's like, infinite lives mode, which I guess that is what unlimited is. So I guess there is that, but it's like, it's not like, I don't know, it's introduced in a way where you're just like, hey, let me just make sure that this experience is fun for me. Like, for example, I didn't use the slow motion mode at all really in the game other than to just test it out. But playing through Love 3, I was just like, I kind of want to just go through this without ever having to go into bullet time. And it felt great. And that was just like a, restriction I set on myself to see the level of challenge that I wanted to see. But on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, another game that I booted up recently, and this is a game that we were actually checking out with our indie game collective pals, and it's one that I've been meaning to check out for a really, really long time. The game's called Hoa, Hoa, and it's just like a really gorgeous, like stunningly gorgeous puzzle platformer for the most part. And it's just like a perfectly leisure, like again, the complete opposite end of the spectrum. I'm just having I was playing the other morning and just sipping on my coffee, and I played probably the first like hour of the game, hour and a half or so. And it's just like, it's got like this Studio Ghibli almost art style, but it has like a little bit of like a 3D quality to it. Like it's not so much parallax scrolling or anything, but there's like actual like little dragonflies or bumblebees like floating in the background, and they kind of fly like almost like a little bit like the newer like Donkey Kong Country, Tropical Freeze, and Donkey Kong Country Returns games kind of have like a little bit of that, a little more depth than just like straight up 2.5D. But again, the gameplay here in Hoa is just taking place on a 2D plane, and I really like essentially the game is just so far at least been kind of broken up into like little segments that are like, you can open up a map, but like each map, it's not an interconnected map, which is kind of what I was feeling like it was going to be at first. But it's like, you just get into a new section. Here's like, you have to collect 5 butterflies in that zone. And then there's like one other thing. I forget what it is that you have to find, but find that, or there's usually like a couple engravings that you have to find and carve or light up or whatever. And then once those are lit up, you have the butterflies, you go back to like the main, like kind of creature that you saw in the world. And so far, at least, it's that creature has then given me like a new ability. So I've gotten the ability to double jump, and then later on got the ability to like kind of ground pound, but not to break things, more to actually like you're kind of jumping. You're like this little like fairy like creature sort of, and you like, you're jumping on like little flower petals and leaves and stuff. So you can kind of like ground pound onto those and spring and launch yourself up. But so far too, like all the enemies, if you will, there's like, they're more like obstacles. Like there's like these robots that'll come and like kick you around, but you don't take any damage. There's no, they might kick you off a ledge, and I guess you got to do a little more platforming to get back up. But for the most part, like all the enemies are more like environmental. Like it kind of reminds me a little bit of EmuRAM a little bit that we've mentioned on the podcast before. Like you're kind of using the creatures and the environment to like reach new heights. And again, now I got a double jump, and now I can push these blocks around that you can push into like, again, everything's just designed so nice. Like you push these rocks into this like light, there's like these blue fairy butterflies or whatever, and you push these rocks underneath them and it like lifts them up. And then I was like, shoot, I'm gonna have to get it back down. And I was thinking I was gonna have to like re-trigger the puzzle, but actually like a drop of water just falls from the ceiling and like deactivates it for a quick second. So like it's a really clever way to like, it's really just an elevator going up and down, but they really like designed it into the world, and it just everything just feels so alive. Like the rocks even have like little like eyeballs that pop up like when you're pushing them around sometimes, not all of them, but man, I'm just like, I was just absolutely charmed by this game. And again, I can't wait to play more. I kept saying like, I think I'm gonna pull the plug here and take a break, and I played for like another half hour, 45 minutes from there, I think. But yeah, I just really was blown away because this game got kind of mediocre reviews, like nothing bad. I never saw anybody really say anything bad about it, but like it came out and I was like, this looks amazing. And then I saw kind of just middling, nobody was really like seemed super excited about it. So I was like, I guess, it might just be a really pretty game. But so far, again, the design has just been like any time where there would be like where I've thought like, oh man, like I collected this thing and now I got to backtrack. It actually like kind of just goes, oh, you collected that thing, and like the butterflies will like, you find this like cocoon, and the butterflies will pop out and just carry you back to like the start of that little segment that you just kind of traverse through. And like, I don't know, just every step of the way, it's just been like guiding me along the path. There's been no frustration, and it's just been stunning. And the music, oh my God, the music. I was playing with headphones on since I was streaming. But yeah, I mean, I could just gush about this game on and on, but I really will probably just, after I pack up the recording equipment here, we'll probably just boot it back up and start playing it again. I'm playing on Nintendo Switch, but it's available on a multitude of platforms, and I really can't recommend either game, whether it's Love 3 or Hoa enough. Both, again, kind of on opposite ends of the spectrum, but really two great platformers that I've been having a blast with. But without further ado, I think we can get into the chit chat with Randall and John and myself. And yeah, let's get right into it. Until next week, we'll catch you then. Take care, everybody.
They signed my man's Isaiah.
They called him up?
Lakers signed him to a 10-day.
Wasn't he on the...
They worked him out like a month ago, and they went another way, and then everyone got COVID.
Yeah, I know.
So, good old hardship exemption saved my man's career, maybe.
Man, how many players can they sign to a hardship exemption?
As many as it takes.
Because, when did Isaiah last play for?
Isaiah Thomas?
There's a second player who has the exact same name.
He's from my new hometown of Tacoma.
Related? They're not related?
No.
They are not related, nope.
Oh, I thought it was his son.
No.
They're like friends and everything. In fact, like older Isaiah Thomas is kind of a mentor to younger Isaiah Thomas.
I was gonna say, I feel like I've seen like photos of them together. So yeah. It must have just been hey, what do you know? You got the same name.
Yeah.
Okay.
Same position too, right? They're both point guards.
Yeah, both point guards.
Yeah. So he played for the Lakers in 2017, 2018.
God, it was that long ago, huh?
And he also played for Cleveland in 2017, 2018. Good Lord, he was on three teams.
That didn't go well. That was busted hip Isaiah by that point.
Yeah. Okay, so then he was Denver, then he was Washington, then he was Pelicans at the beginning of this year.
He bounced around.
Good Lord. He played 3 games for the Pelicans this year.
And he's like retirement age, you guys are saying? Or no, just like because he's
like 31.
Yeah, he's been playing since 2011.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Okay.
He's not young, but he's not washed.
No.
Yeah.
But the point guard position is incredibly deep in the league. And it's not like...
And he's 5'9" with a previously busted hip, so it's tough going.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's...
Yeah.
When you don't have the athleticism to fight back.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes once you get those injuries rolling too, it's just like all downhill.
Yeah. He seems to be okay though. Like he played 1 G League game and went off for 42
41. Yeah, it was
6
nuts.
rebounds and 5 assists. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
On a clinic.
He killed those G League kids.
G League is
it's like the development league or the minors.
Like minor,
but they're usually associated with a specific team. So like
the club teams or whatever.
So if you're even on a roster for like an NBA team, you can get sent down to the G League like to practice or to like recovering players from injuries who are still on contract. Typically,
like Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson was down in the Warriors G League team for a while because he was recovering from injury, and they wanted to slow walk it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen that a couple times. Yeah.
Yeah. Who was I going to look up? There was another G League, another old. Oh no, there was for when Steph won or broke the number 1 3-point records of all time.
Yeah.
And people were just like posting picture, like because Ray Allen was there in the crowd, and like they just were posting pictures of him like grimacing, being like, "Just put me on a 10-day contract, and I'll take that number 1 spot back."
Yeah. That's what people were saying, like, all these, like, COVID hardship protocols. This thing ain't over. You could sign Ray Allen and stick him in the corner and just feed him the ball.
Yeah. Ray Allen, for sure. Yeah, he's still got it.
Yeah. Oh, you know
Reggie Miller, I don't know. Reggie Miller, I mean, I love him, but I don't know if he can still hang.
I don't know, man. He's a hell of a shooter, though.
That's true. And I guess if you're just shooting.
Yeah. If he's not,
and it's like
making a fast break.
Yeah. Man.
Yeah,
I would take Reggie Miller shooting a 3 ball for the win.
He is fucking awesome in his day as a shooter, man.
Yeah,
he was a monster. That one game, like the super famous game where he scored like whatever, like 15 points in like Yeah.
Yep.
It's unbelievable.
Just wild.
Yeah.
He's just like, no. We're going to win this game.
Yeah.
No. Nah, I want to win today. I don't want to lose.
We're not going to. I've decided.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Man, talk about it. That's just like sheer willpower.
Yeah.
Just like, and a little bit of luck. Also, I think you retweeted that, John, that like ending to that game the other day where like that guy just drained that crazy 3 to tie it, and then they made that.
Oh,
they
that
made
was
like
nuts.
Like,
because even
so disheartening. Like,
Yeah.
like the 61 foot was the first 3.
No, that was the second 3. That was the
Okay,
like,
because that
with
first
the 1 second to go.
Yeah,
because that
heave.
first 3 was a bomb.
That
Yeah,
first
they're
thing
both
was so
circus
good. It was such like
Yeah.
that would still be a headline if
Yes.
not for
it would be the number
follow-up.
1 play on Sports Center if it was
Yes.
like,
Yeah.
well, assuming they won the game, it'd be like, oh, they tied it with this play and then they won the game.
Yeah.
Number 1 on the top 10.
Ugh, just
Jeez, man.
brutal. Like
Just let me just suck the wind out of your sails. Like, oh yeah, we're going to overtime. Oh shit!
Not so much.
Did that
And,
game matter in any capacity as far as like?
no, they're both garbage.
Early
teams.
enough.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They're both
Yeah.
like in the race to tank to get the number 1 lottery pick. That's
Right.
Okay,
So
okay.
the Pelicans, I guess, lost in that respect.
They did.
Yeah.
They really did.
Oh God.
Thunder and Pelicans.
Put it on the highlight reel.
I'm going to
Oh,
close
man.
this vent real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you guys watch any of that Indie World showcase the other day?
I didn't.
There wasn't nothing new really. Like they showed off some bigger chunks of like games that I feel like I'd seen before. Like they showed off that game that was from the people who made The Messenger, which is actually like a prequel. It looks really cool. Sea of Stars, I think it was called, or it had like kind of a generic name, but it looked really cool. It's like a top-down RPG, but kind of looked like it had some interesting mechanics. And yeah, it's like it's technically a prequel to The Messenger, but they're like you don't need to know one or the other, you know. But
Yeah.
set in the same world and all that. I'm trying to think of what else they showed off. There was nothing I was super pumped about, but then when I re-skimmed it, I was like, oh, that was kind of cool. That was kind of cool, but yeah, nothing that I was like, oh, nice.
I don't even know that I knew that was happening until I saw people bitching that Silk Song wasn't announced again on Twitter.
It's so annoying, dude. I hope it never comes out. Man. I hope it never fucking comes out.
I mean, yes, it's the same. Like that is like in the same vein of like the Pokemon and like Animal Crossing, like level
like
of
if-
entitlement and complaining. Like just
How awesome would it be if they were like, what's that character's name? Rose from Silk Song. What is her name? I feel like that character has a name in Hollow Knight, but whatever. What if they're just like Silk Song's coming to Smash? Like the game still doesn't come out, but they add her into Smash.
That would have been awesome.
That would be amazing. But
It's too late now. They're not adding any more characters to Ultimate.
that's all done.
I thought I saw something the other day that said they announced that they were doing another thing, but I thought because I had seen something before that he was done.
Sakurai is free. Let
man,
the
he
man
was like-
sleep.
He needs.
He was
sleep.
like, I don't know what else I could do to this franchise.
Oh my God.
Let me be.
Let him live.
Yes.
Hornet.
Yeah,
What's her name?
Hornet on.
Silk Song.
Oh, gotcha. WarioWare I finally played too. I talked about it on Save It for the Cast this
I
week,
heard.
but it's fun, man. It's fun. It's fun, and I didn't even get to the penny mode yet. So,
It's on my Xmas list. So
I
we'll
did
see.
now. Like I played penny mode, and I was like, okay, this is where the real game is.
Ooh.
It only in the,
The
sense
real
that
Dark
like
Souls starts here.
I only say that in the sense that like it kind of felt like it didn't have the character swapping, like you only play as Penny in that mode.
Yeah.
So it kind of had the feel where like the mini games all felt a little more focused, where like you're always kind of having to maneuver around that mechanic, where like otherwise like a lot of the games just do feel kind of basic in the sense that like they have to work around so many different control schemes that it's like, oh, this is really just like mash the button. So a little bit disappointing a tad, but it is still fun, but it doesn't quite have that arcadey feel of like Touched for me.
Yeah.
Because Touched was like, I really felt like I was like, let me get that high score. I got to break 100. I got to break 100. Like, man, fucking love that game.
That's how I felt about the first one too.
I only ever played the GameCube version of the first one. Like they, you know how they like put it out after in like a multiplayer kind of version.
Yeah.
And I never got super hooked because I had already played Touched before and Twisted. So those are my two favorites, Twisted and Touched.
Yeah.
Which like in theory you would think those would be like the most like gimmicky, but they're awesome.
That is like one of the best series in terms of embracing and well executing gimmicks.
Totally.
Like, yeah.
Nearly built to be the perfect like example of a gimmick or a mechanic.
Yeah. It really is, because the series doesn't take itself seriously, so you can just embrace the gimmick for what it is and be like, this is all supposed to be kind of a little bit stupid, so it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, even like it doesn't even necessarily have to make sense.
No,
you know,
not at all.
Like so many of the instructions are just like that's where it gets a little confusing, because like when you do have like a stylus or like you're twisting the Game Boy one way or the other, like if it says like run or avoid or whatever prompt it kind of gives you for the micro game, you kind of know what to do. But when you're just like moving a character around on the screen and it's like eat, and you're like, well, am I supposed to eat it, or am I supposed to shove this thing into a person's mouth, or
figure it out?
What the heck am I supposed to do? So, but it's fun. It's really cool. I like just unlocking all the characters is pretty fun. Like all the different ways they play.
Nice.
So I feel like you and Tina will definitely get some good mileage out of the co-op.
Oh, I wants it. We'll see how it goes. I hope I get it.
Yeah, it's a fun one. I didn't ask for any games this year. I'm kind of mad that I didn't put, because everybody kept pestering me to ask for stuff this year, and I'm kind of mad I didn't put one of those Anbernick things on my Christmas list. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I couldn't think of anything else, but I do want to get one of those to have a native Pico 8 machine, handheld Pico 8 machine.
Yeah.
Seems pretty nice. That has Wi-Fi for that matter.
Those are slick.
Yeah. I kind of want to get the one that looks a little, they have another model that looks a little more like the Game Boy Advance shape.
Yeah.
Like I kind of like the,
they even have like one that's just a Switch. Like it is full.
Oh, okay.
Like it's all the same architecture. It's just like, I think some of it has like, oh, this is a better graphic card and this is a better screen, but it's all like the same stuff. But one of them like is just a Switch.
Oh, I got to look into that. Cause I wouldn't mind a bigger screen too, but I like like as much as I am loving the look of that analog pocket and I really want one, like there's part of me that like, especially I saw a couple people take screenshots of the Game Boy Advance, like a Game Boy Advance game on there.
Yeah.
Or not a screenshot, but like a photo. And because it's like a little bit of a more widescreen aspect ratio, it's like, it's not using that full screen there.
But the Game Boy and Game Boy Color and Game Gear all do.
And I know, like that Shantae that we were talking about, that snapshot, I was like, holy shit, this is just somebody taking a picture of the thing and it looks that good. So I do want one. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
But how much are they again? They're like 180 or something, 200?
I think so. Yeah, I think it.
Like it's not crazy.
No, they just announced a price increase. Maybe it's like $220 now, something like that.
And then I didn't know there was a dock for it. Did you get the dock?
Of course I did. Yes.
God, I should. Yeah, of course. You got any cool accessory that can come with it. You've got it, of course.
So the dock, I'm assuming, is just like an HDMI port to the TV. Oh.
Yep. That's sick though. Yep. I did not know that they made that for it. So that's like a
and it'll
huge
connect
upsell
to
for me.
Bluetooth or 2.4 gigahertz wireless controllers. So it's like basically another Switch idea, but for portable games.
It's basically having a. So I didn't know it played Game Gear games too.
Can you use a Wiimote?
Okay. I was going to say I didn't know those were the same size cartridge.
Yeah.
Because
I think you could pair. Yeah.
I used to pair my Wiimote to OpenEMU. And that's how I would play a ton of like either just Game Boy or like NES games.
Sure.
It was all you needed.
Yeah. Plus, you could plug into the dongle and then use like the other classic controllers and stuff. And it
was great.
I wonder, does it? I don't know if they would be able to do this within the hardware or software or whatever, but are you able to do like link cable co-op games? Okay.
Yes.
Ooh. Like as in like on
Kirby
the dock?
and the Amazing Mirror.
I don't know about I'm not sure about on the dock, but specifically like handheld to handheld, yes.
Wirelessly, or does it actually have like the link cable port?
I think there's a link cable port. I'm not sure if you can do wireless or not.
Because I kind of forgot about that feature on like DS games where you could like, only one person needs to own the cartridge and like we can all play Mario Kart together. How cool was that?
That was amazing.
God, what if they did that with Switch? Yeah, right.
Like the Mario Party DS game. Yeah, only one person had to have it, and then the other 3 got like the full experience of playing a multiplayer Mario Party thing. It was awesome.
Yeah. And there is something cool about it. Like, I haven't done a ton of those games, but like even playing the tiny bit of Zelda 4 Swords GameCube, like just being able to play that and like the first time, like me and my brother were playing it, and the first time when I like went into a like underground dungeon while he was still on like the above ground map, and like I went down on my screen. I can't remember if it happened to him first or me, but we were just like, holy shit, this is awesome.
So cool.
Like, like that's such a great use of between that or even with like Crystal Chronicles, like you just being able to like, let me look at my menu whenever I want on my own
your
personal screen.
Menus are all on your screen.
Why have they not done more 3DS Switch connectivity?
I know.
Now that like they haven't done that more, they haven't done any.
Because they need you to buy a Switch, not a 3DS.
Yeah, because they're done.
I wouldn't even mind. I wouldn't even mind if they made me buy a fucking Switch Lite for the connectivity.
Yeah, that's true.
Like let me buy a Switch Lite and use it like a Wii U gamepad.
Yeah,
and it's game over. How awesome would that be?
Mm-hmm.
It's such a specific use case, though. Like there would be 4.
Well, I don't know.
They would make 4 games for it, and then they wouldn't do anything. Those 4 games would be incredible, but then they wouldn't do anything else. Like
just like Nintendo did with Game Boy Advance and GameCube.
Yeah.
Well, I still feel like like the dual screen setup really like it would. Pikmin they could make much better. Pikmin 3.
Yeah.
Any of the Zelda games, if like being able to, or any game
the
like
remake
that,
of
you
Crystal
can basically
Chronicles is basically unplayable from what I hear because they don't have that connectivity. Like that they just like took that out, but like didn't edit the game to like account for it,
to accommodate. Yeah, like even Wonderful 101, like it's a cool game, but like I kind of
need.
It was just so finicky to play. Like it's like, man, I got to remember all the like. It's definitely a game you'd have to play through in one sitting, or you know what I mean. Like
once you get
this is the only game I'm playing until I'm done with it, and then
holy
like, there's
shit,
no
is
way
this
you can
the
bounce
year
around.
that I finally play Star Fox Zero?
Ooh, hey, if you do that, I will do that
because I'll even
play Star Fox Guard.
And it was just so disorienting and like
it is. It's like impossible. But apparently
really
people
difficult.
are like, you get used to it. I'm like, okay.
So
they did after 2 missions.
They don't give the option to go to any kind of normal scheme.
No,
because like
that's crazy.
I think it was also like doubly. Okay, we have to clap and start the podcast at some point.
We do,
but also I think I also had like an extra disorientation because I am used to reversed y-axis.
Yeah.
Oh,
and like so doing that and then also switching to the gamepad, I don't know if that worked. So like it was a nightmare.
Yeah, because I'm assuming they're doing the gamepad like 1-to-1, just wherever you're pointing it is where you're aiming it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Control the ship, but then shoot by moving the gamepad. So
oh yeah.
I freaking love the box art for Star Fox Guard, the game that came with it.
Yeah.
Or was that what it was called? Star Fox
something. Yeah.
So it was like kind of like a tactics-y, board gamey kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever played that.
It came with it.
This is the year I play all of my Wii U games.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll do a Metroid Prime stream if you the whole trilogy.
I'm literally hooking up all my stuff, and the Wii U is getting hooked up as well. And I would love to play. I would love to have the excuse to try out some of those games again.
Everybody's playing Shin Megami Tensei 5 or whatever, and I'm playing Tokyo Mirage Sessions.
Yeah,
let's go.
Do you own that, John? Isn't that game worth like a fortune now these days?
It's a great fucking game.
I have heard that game's awesome.
It's incredible because
it looks amazing.
It's still just as difficult as like any of the Shin Megami Tensei games, but like it is once you get like a or like a combo thing, because it's all about building up like like you have to hit the weak points of like the characters, and once you do, then you can like just do combo after combo after combo, and once you set that up, it feels so good.
And aren't there like Fire Emblem characters in that game too? Or am I thinking of something different?
Yes.
Okay.
They are.
I knew it was some kind of like crossover thing.
It is. Yeah, it's so weird. It's such a bonkers game. I need to play it again. I loved it. I got pretty far in it.
I never bought that version though. I'd probably get the Switch version at this point if I still could.
Oh, it came out on Switch?
Yeah,
no, I didn't know they put that on Switch.
And they added like a ton of stuff to it too, which I'm sure would be great. But I'm stubborn and I already own it, and I'm not buying that game.
I don't blame you.
See, I rebought. There's certain games I've rebought, but there's certain games I just won't for whatever reason. Although I do still want to rebuy Captain Toad, like all those extra levels they added. Or
I
still have your copy of Captain
Toad's. Oh, you do. You do. I forgot about that. That game is awesome.
It's a great
really
game.
Like that game.
It's honestly, it's a perfect game.
Yeah.
It's honestly.
There's no fat.
Pretty damn good.
It's just
yeah.
Little diorama you can play in. It's
and it was only like when it came out, it was like $30. So it really was like, oh yeah, a little bit smaller scope, but perfect scope for the price.
Yeah. Toad's
Man, I
moment
love
to
that
shine.
game. For real, yeah. All right, you guys ready for a clap here?
I'm ready to clap.
Let's do it. Trying to think. I've got Xenoblade Chronicles X.
I never bought that either, but the way that some other podcasts I listen to talk about that game, like I probably should buy that. Like it's like once you get about 80 hours in, the game gets really.
See, like the thing is, the things that I like about it that I can only get from that game in terms of like the Xenoblade series, I get from Daemon X Machina, and that is so much better. Like Daemon X Machina is such a better mech game in that respect.
Yeah.
But like Xenoblade Chronicle, so have you played the Wii Xenoblade Chronicles?
Yes.
Okay.
I've played a lot of that game, and I kick myself for not seeing it through and just beating it.
It's the same combat system.
Okay.
But you have a pilot that has like those, like the bar at the bottom where you have your A attack and then like your skills with cooldowns on that. And then when you get into your mech also has that, but it's like a bigger bar, and it's just they do so much more damage. And the enemies go from like stuff that you can like engage in on as a pilot level that is just like a normal thing, and then you just have giant fuck off enemies that are will just kill you in one hit if you engage them as a pilot. But then like which is
the joy of Xenoblade.
It's
the
so
joy of
fun,
Xenoblade.
but it's so and like also it is its story is weird in comparison to like Xenoblade Chronicles and Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Yeah.
It's like, because it's kind of like, I think it is an online game, and you could play multiplayer
Probably
online.
not anymore. Well, maybe.
Yeah. It's like technically an MMO, right? You're talking about
like,
X.
So the main character, voiceless, like
really
doesn't like, there are characters that like you have in your team that like all have like different roles and stuff, but your character is fully customizable like any online game. And it's so weird in terms of like, it kind of has a similar story beat, I guess, to like Xenogears and Xenoblade, but like it just feels so much different when compared to like Xenoblade Chronicles and Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
I mean, that's okay, because in Xenoblade 2, I'm like, can these guys just shut the fuck up for a second?
Yeah. They still talk too much, but you just don't. You're just like, your character is just like arms folded in the background, or like silently going.
Hey, it's at least a little less dialogue.
But then I love the quips in the first game. Like, I want the Monado to lend me the power. And
yes, I want to know it's Rhine time.
Yeah.
God, what
a bunch of jokers.
Oh, I fucking love. One is such a great, one of the best voice acted games I've ever played in terms of entertainment value.
Is Xenogears part of the same series?
Yeah, at least kind of, right?
And Xenosaga.
Yeah.
Xenogears was the first.
I thought aren't those PlayStation games?
Yep.
Oh man, I did not know there was any correlation or any tie to
was
those.
The first one, then it was Xenosaga, which was PS2.
Sounds right. Yeah.
And
Whoa. Man, I did not know that. How did they just become like Nintendo? Nintendo acquired the studio?
Yeah. Xenoblade was one of,
or at least made a deal with them
RPGs released on a Nintendo system. And so because of that, it had a rabid cult following.
Yep.
Well, because Xenoblade was one of the games that like didn't get released, but then they got
Operation
like that huge push,
Rainfall.
right, to get.
I got like one of the only copies because I bought it when I was in Champaign, Urbana, and like I literally like went to like GameStop the day it came out and just like, I need this game, and I was like, all right, here's the only copy we got because we're
That's
like
dope.
a fucking college town. Like
I bought it directly from Nintendo in that same like very short time frame. And like I'd never bought anything from the Nintendo store before.
Yeah.
Like
God, what
that was sweet.
That's awesome.
weird point in time.
That was a cool, like, people were literally just like, let's just wish list this game on Amazon until they fucking localize it to America. That's pretty awesome.
Because there was
Playing
such
the
a
last story too.
oh my
same
god,
that game looked really cool, and the other one too.
Pandora's Tower.